So let's now come to, again, our Gen Y champion, Kamel Al-Asmar, who is founder of Nakhwe and an old friend of Emirates Foundation, who himself is doing too many things for me to put into one sentence, but has been championing both youth, volunteering, a social enterprise, and indeed enterprise more generally, and is such an active individual in this space. So, Kamel, your thoughts then on the topic. Do you think you were born green?
Definitely we were not born green. It's part of the learning process. So if I go back to 2009, when my passion was all about helping people, so I found volunteering as a channel. Then I studied computer science, and I mixed both to launch a volunteer matching website. It's part of the learning process. And because I worked for a career matching company, I came up with the idea. But at that point, I didn't know the word sustainability existed. So since 6 years till today, it was a learning process which exposed me to what sustainability is, to what leadership is, to what being green is. So when we say that youth are born green, no, they're not. But the amount of data youth are exposed to nowadays, especially through social media channels, they are learning more about sustainability. But we're talking about a segment of the community. Because if we go to local communities, to people who are barely able to cover the basics of their living, I think the least of their concern would be being green or sustainability. So, and when we say business schools, we are also talking about a small segment of schools in the Arab world, because the educational system in general is not giving any attention to sustainability or leadership. And at home, also parents are not even giving any attention to these two topics. Actually, we're always followers, whether it's in school or at home. So we can't become leaders if we're not taught how to become leaders.
Interesting that you seem to be less optimistic than the older people in the room. And indeed, I have a question which looks like you wrote it, but I think you didn't because you were using the mic. But to come back to you then, Kamel, what more can be done to help young people think more holistically about these issues? And what would incentivize them to do so?
Yesterday, I've been asked about youth in general in the region. I put them under 3 different categories. One is youth who are already active. They know what sustainability is. They're leaders. And these are like 3 to 4%. I don't have accurate numbers. I'm just assuming. The other category is people who are interested but still confused about the channels where they can actually contribute and how they can do work when it comes to sustainability. And these are also like 3 to 4%. The majority, they still need to learn about sustainability. When it comes to government, let's put UAE as an exception, because UAE is like not any other country in the world, not only the region. The government needs to learn sustainability before starting to spread awareness about it. So I think governments at this point have to step out for a while, and we have to count on private sector and nonprofits to be able to spread awareness, and schools definitely, about sustainability between youth. So I see a lot of nonprofits now doing this work, and when it comes to especially nonprofits that are providing scholarships, they're engaging youth in leadership and sustainability programs as a give back for the scholarships that they're getting. This is one.
For example, can you give us an example of how that works?
Ruwad in Jordan, for example.
Second shout out to Ruwad.
Ruwad in Jordan, they actually give scholarships to students in very underserved areas, and in return, these students volunteer. And Ruwad's journey is a learning process as well, because it's not only about volunteering. They have awareness sessions about many different things, including sustainability. When it comes to schools, we need to teach teachers first how to address sustainability and how to communicate the message to students so that they understand from the beginning when they grow up and finish school, that they have the option to look at jobs in companies that are addressing sustainability or non-profits. I would say that the majority of youth now, they don't even know what they want to do after they're done with school. Their major concern is to find a job, full stop, regardless of whether it's sustainable or not. So that's one thing that we have to look at before we even get into sustainability or leadership.
You make a very valid point, and Russia from the floor says the same thing. Fresh engineering graduate, how can he or she find a job? Even a month after graduation, there don't seem to be any opportunities available. It's a public good. Kamel, final word to you before we go to our word cloud. Fortunately, we're running out of time. But you seem to me as somebody who is intrinsically thinking sustainably in the way you set up your own organizations, the way you work with young people, the way you engage in platforms like this. You as a young person hiring people to work with any one of your organizations, what would you look for in them in terms of thinking this person can be a good sustainability leader in the future? What kind of characteristics would you look for?
To be honest, I don't look at leaders when it comes to hiring people. Because I preach about it a lot, I like to give chances to youth. And this is the one part on how the private sector can get in. We have a very high unemployment rate, and also the private sector is unable to find the talent. So we have to encourage a culture of tolerance inside the private sector to help youth develop their leadership skills for a few months before they actually start working for real inside the companies. That's why I always look at people who have I see little potential in them to be future leaders at some point, and I help them within the 3 organizations I work with on how they can develop their skills and build on the potential that they have.
So it's really about getting that work experience for everyone, and indeed a point made earlier. Great. Well, thank you to all of you.